Supreme Representative Su-Min Ryu stood in the Great Hall of Centauri Prime Station, remembering the day Earth had been rejected here. Now the hall looked very different. Instead of the council's high seats looking down on everyone, a round table filled the space. Representatives from both the Alliance and the Council sat together as equals. 5 years had passed since Earth's rejection. Now they met to sign the Treaty of Galactic Unity, which would change everything. The black ships taught us something important. The Council's head speaker said, his golden skin dim with humility. Our old ways almost destroyed us all. Su-Min nodded, thinking about the final battle. The Alliance fleet had saved not just the Council worlds, but the entire galaxy. Their combined technologies and strategies had defeated an enemy that no single species could have faced alone. The Alliance proved that our differences make us stronger, she said. When we work together, share our knowledge, and trust each other, we can do amazing things. The treaty in front of them would transform the galaxy. The old council would end. In its place, a new galactic union would form, one where all species had an equal voice, where new ideas were welcomed, and where cooperation replaced control. Around them, the station hummed with activity. Human engineers worked with council technicians to install new systems. Valerian quantum experts improved the power systems. Crystal beings provided better energy networks. Some of our oldest members still fear change, the head speaker admitted. Change brought us victory, Su-Min replied. Look what we've built in just 5 years. Imagine what we can do in 100 or 1,000. She activated a display showing their achievements. New colonies growing on worlds the Council had thought impossible to live on. Diseases cured by combining different species' medical knowledge. Trade routes bringing wealth to every part of the galaxy. The black ships thought they found us weak and divided, Su-Min said. Instead, they forced us to become stronger by showing us we needed each other. The signing ceremony began. One by one, representatives from every species, Alliance and Council alike, added their marks to the treaty. Each signature glowed with a different color, creating a beautiful pattern. Earth was right, the head speaker said quietly. When we rejected you, we thought we were protecting ourselves. Instead, we almost destroy ourselves by staying afraid. Su-Min looked around the hall. Human children played with young Valerians while their parents worked together. Council scientists eagerly shared ideas with Alliance engineers. Former enemies now worked side by side to build something new. The old Council kept species apart because they were afraid of what we might become, she said. Now we know what we can become, something greater than any of us could be alone. As the ceremony ended, Su-Min walked to the same window where Ambassador Kita had stood 5 years ago. The view was different now. Ships of all species moved together through space, their crews mixed, their technologies combined. The Council had rejected Earth, thinking they were too dangerous, too unpredictable, too different. They never realized that those differences, those new ideas and ways of thinking, were exactly what the galaxy needed. Ready to begin the first session of the new union? An aide asked. Su-Min smiled. This wasn't an ending, it was a beginning. The galaxy was entering a new age, where cooperation replaced fear, where progress wasn't stopped by tradition, and where every species could reach its full potential. Together, they would build something greater than the Council had ever imagined. Together, they would reach for the stars. Fleet Admiral Eugene Beck stood on the bridge of the Alliance flagship Unity, watching an emergency message from the Galactic Council. The Council's head speaker, the same golden-skinned being who had rejected Earth years ago, looked afraid, something no one had ever seen before. The black ships have taken 6 of our core systems, the head speaker said, his voice shaking. Our defenses are failing. He paused, clearly struggling with the words. We request the Alliance's help. The same message was playing across every Alliance world. The Council, which had once called them all too dangerous and unstable, was now begging for their help. Admiral, her Valerian second-in-command said, the black ships have weapons we've never seen. They're destroying everything in their path. Jin nodded quietly. The Alliance's advanced sensors had been tracking the invasion for weeks. The black ships cut through the Council's ancient defenses like they weren't even there. In the emergency chamber on Mars, representatives from all member species gathered to decide what to do. The debate was intense. "Let them fall," said the crystal being representative. "They rejected us all. Why should we risk our people to save them? If we don't stop the black ships now, they'll come for us next," argued the Time Weaver member. Jin studied the tactical display. The Council's space was like an old castle with high walls, impressive but unable to change when a new threat appeared. The Alliance's territory was different, filled with new ideas and combined technologies. The Council's biggest mistake wasn't rejecting us, Jin said to the chamber. It was thinking that keeping species apart made them stronger. We proved them wrong. Now we can show them how wrong they were. The Alliance fleet was ready. Their ships combined the strengths of all their species, faster, stronger, and more adaptable than anything the Council or the black ships had ever seen. "We have a choice," Jin continued. "We can let old anger guide us, or we can show the galaxy a better way. They kept species apart. We bring them together. They feared change. We embrace it." The chamber was quiet for a moment. Then the Valerian representative stood. "Our quantum shields are ready." The crystal being sparkled. "Our energy weapons are at full power." One by one, each species offered their strength. This was what made the Alliance different. Every voice mattered. Every species brought something special. Jin sent the Alliance's answer to the Council. "We will help, but we do this our way, not yours." The Alliance fleet moved out, thousands of ships, each one carrying crews from multiple species working together. They had trained for years, combining their different ways of thinking to create new battle strategies. As they approached the battle zone, Jin thought about how far they had come. The Council had rejected them all, thinking they were too dangerous. Now that same danger would be used to save the galaxy. "All ships, battle formation," she ordered. The fleet moved as one, their combined shields glowing with power. Human determination, Valerian quantum science, crystal being energy, gravity shaper control, and Time Weaver foresight all working together. The Council built walls, Jin said to her crew. "We built bridges. They chose fear. We chose trust. They tried to keep the galaxy the same. We made it better." The black ships appeared on their screens. The Council's forces were retreating, their old tactics useless against this new threat. But the Alliance was ready. They weren't just fighting to save the Council. They were fighting to show the galaxy a new way forward. A way where differences made you stronger, not weaker. Where change was an opportunity, not a threat. Where the future was something to build together, not fear alone. Chief Engineer Tae-ho Kim walked through the largest research center ever built, watching scientists from 15 different species working together. The facility floated in space near Jupiter, its vast halls filled with the most advanced technology in the galaxy. "Look at this," he said to his multi-species team, pointing to their newest creation. It was a defense system that combined all their species' best ideas. Earth's adaptive computers worked with Valerian quantum fields, powered by crystal being energy, and protected by gravity shaper shields. "The Council wouldn't even understand how it works," said his Valerian assistant, their silver skin glowing with pride. "They've used the same technology for so long, they've forgotten how to learn new things." 3 years had passed since the Alliance formed. What started as a group of rejected species had grown into something amazing. Their combined territory now covered almost half of known space. In the main control room, reports came in from across Alliance space. New colonies were growing fast. Trade between different species had created more wealth than the Council had in 1,000 years. Their shared research had solved problems that had stumped the Council for centuries. "The medical team has done it again," announced a young scientist. They've cured another impossible disease by combining human biology knowledge with Time Weaver healing methods. Taiho smiled proudly. Every day brought new breakthroughs. When different species worked together instead of staying apart, progress happened faster than anyone thought possible. The main screen showed a council patrol fleet near their border. The council ships were still using designs that hadn't changed in centuries. Their technology looked old and simple compared to the Alliance's new ships. They're still stuck in the past, Taiho said, shaking his head. They're so afraid of change that they've stopped growing. In the testing area, his team was working on their newest project, a ship that could actually bend space itself. It used ideas from all their member species: Earth's engineering, Valerian quantum science, gravity shaper technology, and Time Weaver understanding of spacetime. The first tests are perfect, reported one of the scientists. It can travel 10 times faster than any council ship. This was what made the Alliance special. While the Council feared new ideas, the Alliance welcomed them. While the Council kept species separate, the Alliance brought them together. Every combination created something new and better. Later that day, Taiho joined a meeting with Alliance leaders. The strategic display showed their space compared to the Council's. The difference was clear to everyone. Our economy is now bigger than the Council's, said the economic advisor. More independent species want to trade with us than with them. Even some council members have secretly asked about joining our alliance. Taiho wasn't surprised. The council's fear of change was making them weaker every day. Meanwhile, the alliance grew stronger by trying new things and working together. Remember when they said we were too unpredictable? Taiho asked the group. They were right. We are unpredictable because we're not afraid to try new things. We are dangerous to their old way of thinking. Through the window, he watched ships from all their member species moving smoothly through space together. Each one was different, but they worked as one fleet, one force, one alliance. The Council had tried to keep them weak by keeping them apart. Instead, they had created something stronger than anyone could have imagined. The Alliance wasn't just a group of rejected species anymore. It was the future of the galaxy. Ambassador Kita Park stood at the tall windows of the Council station, watching alien ships glide past like colorful fish in a cosmic sea. After 15 years of preparation, Earth was finally ready to join the Galactic Council. Or so they thought. "Sir," his assistant whispered, "they're calling us in now." Kaita straightened his dark blue uniform and touched the Earth badge on his chest. The metal felt cool under his fingers. This meeting would change humanity's future. He just didn't know how much. The council chamber was enormous. 12 alien species sat in high seats looking down at the human group. Some aliens had scales that shimmered like rainbows. Others glowed with inner light. A few looked almost like smoke with eyes. The head counselor, a tall being with golden skin, spoke first. Earth's application for council membership will now be reviewed. The alien's voice echoed in the huge room. Ambassador Park, you may present your case. Keita stepped forward. His heart beat fast, but his voice stayed calm. Honored Council, Earth has met all requirements for membership. We have mastered faster than light travel. We have united our planet under one government. We have peaceful colonies on Mars and Europa. We seek to join the galactic community and share knowledge with all species. Whispers filled the chamber. Some aliens nodded, but others shook their heads or made worried sounds. Kita showed them images of Earth's achievements: clean cities powered by fusion energy, ships that could jump between stars, new medicines that could cure most diseases. We come in peace, he said. We want to learn from you and share what we know. But then a blue-skinned counselor interrupted. Show them the other files, it said. New images appeared. Earth's warships, weapon research labs, and how quickly humans were creating new technology. These are just for defense, Keita explained. All species need protection. And yes, we learn and grow quickly. That's one of humanity's strengths. The council members talked among themselves in different languages. Some seemed angry, others afraid. Kita waited patiently, but he noticed how the older species looked most worried about Earth. After what felt like hours, the head counselor spoke again. "We have reached our decision." The golden being paused. "Earth's application for council membership is denied." Keita kept his face calm, but inside his mind was racing. "May we know why?" "Your species develops too quickly. You change too fast. Your military growth is concerning, and your creativity makes your future actions unpredictable. The Council finds these factors too dangerous for membership at this time." The real message was clear. They were afraid of humans, afraid of how fast they learned and grew stronger. Keita bowed slightly. "We understand the Council's decision." His voice stayed polite, but his mind was already working on new plans. "When may we apply again?" "In 50 standard years, Earth may submit a new application," the head counselor said. The human group left the chamber with their heads held high. But as they walked back to their ship, Keita smiled slightly. "Sir," his assistant asked quietly, "why are you smiling?" "They think they're teaching us a lesson," Keita said softly. "But they've just made their biggest mistake." He looked out at the stars. "If they won't let us join their club, we'll build something better." As their ship flew away from the station, Keita started writing messages to Earth's leaders. The Council thought rejection would slow humans down. Instead, they had just challenged humanity to prove them wrong. History had shown this many times. Telling humans they couldn't do something only made them try harder. Now the entire Council had said humans weren't good enough. Keita almost felt sorry for them. Almost. Military Commander Bo-young Lee stood before the Earth Defense Council in Seoul. The room was quiet except for the soft hum of holographic displays showing star maps. It had been 2 days since the Galactic Council's rejection. "They think they've put us in our place," Bo-young said, her voice strong and clear. "But they've actually given us an opportunity." She pressed a button on her tablet. The star map changed, showing hundreds of points of light. "The Council isn't what we thought it was. Science Director Soo-jin, please explain what we found." Soo-jin Choi stepped forward. She was shorter than Bo-young, but her eyes showed the same determination. "We've analyzed the Council's public records. In the past 100 years, they've rejected 47 species for membership, all for similar reasons to us: too fast, too creative, too unpredictable." The room filled with surprised whispers. Soo-jin continued, "But here's the interesting part. Most of these species are still advancing. Some are doing amazing things the Council never imagined." Bo-young took over again. "The Council isn't protecting galactic peace. They're protecting their power. They reject any species that might challenge their way of doing things." She zoomed in on one particular star system. "This is the Valerian homeworld. The Council rejected them last year because they developed new types of energy shields. Shields better than the Council's." "What are you suggesting?" asked the Earth President, leaning forward in his chair. "Instead of waiting 50 years to beg the Council again," Bo-young said, her eyes bright with purpose, "we reach out to these other rejected species, not to fight the Council, but to build something new, something better." Soo-jin stepped forward again, showing more data. "We've been studying the rejected species through our long-range telescopes. Many are like us, creative, adaptable, always trying new things. The Council sees this as dangerous. We see it as valuable." One of the Council members spoke up. "Won't the Council try to stop us?" "They might," Bo-young smiled. "But that's the beauty of it. They've already rejected us. We don't need their permission anymore." She showed a new image, a design for a diplomatic ship. "I propose we send out teams to meet these other species, not as conquered people looking for revenge, but as equals looking to build partnerships." Soo-jin added her own data. "Many of these species have technologies we've never seen, and they probably haven't seen some of ours. Together, we could all grow stronger." The Earth President stood up slowly. You're talking about creating our own alliance, outside the Council's control. Yes, Bo Young said firmly. The Council keeps species apart because they're afraid of change. We'll bring species together because we know change makes us stronger. The meeting went on for hours. They discussed risks and possibilities. But as they talked, excitement grew in the room. The Council's rejection didn't have to be an end. It could be a beginning. The Valerians are closest, Su Jin said, pointing to the map. Their technology is different from ours, but just as advanced. They could be our first allies. As the meeting ended, Bo Young looked out the window at the Seoul skyline. Humans had built this city from nothing, just like they'd built their space program and their colonies. Now they would build something even bigger. The Council thinks they've contained us, she said to Su Jin as they left. But they've just shown us who our real friends should be. Su Jin nodded, already working on plans for the first contact mission. They wanted to keep us weak by keeping us alone. Instead, they're going to make us stronger by helping us find others like us. The stars shone brightly over Seoul that night. Somewhere out there, other rejected species were looking up at their own skies, wondering if they were alone. They weren't. And soon, they would know it. Captain Hyunwoo Nam watched from the bridge of the Earth ship New Dawn as they approached Valerian space. Their ship's engines hummed quietly as they slowed down from faster-than-light speed. Scanning for their defense stations, reported his sensor officer. Found them. 3 large stations around their second planet. Hyunwoo nodded calmly. Earth's research had shown that the Valerians were peaceful but careful. Like humans, they had learned to protect themselves in a galaxy that wasn't always friendly. They're sending us a message, the communications officer said. Video signal. Show it, Hyunwoo ordered, straightening his uniform. The screen lit up to show a Valerian for the first time. They were tall and elegant, with silver skin that seemed to shift like flowing water. Their eyes were large and dark, holding wisdom and curiosity. Earth vessel. The Valerian spoke in perfect English. Your arrival is unexpected. The Council forbids contact between rejected species. Hyunwoo smiled. The Council rejected us both. We decided their rules don't apply anymore. The Valerian was quiet for a moment. Then they said, I am first speaker Vel. We would be honored to meet in person. An hour later, Hyunwoo led a small team to the Valerian's main station. Inside, the walls glowed with soft light from their advanced quantum technology. Everything seemed to float and flow, different from Earth's solid structures, but beautiful in its own way. First Speaker Vel met them in a circular room where the floor itself seemed alive with patterns of light. We watched your rejection by the Council, Vel said. You spoke well, but they fear what they cannot control. That's why we're here, Hyunwoo replied. He activated a small device that showed a hologram of local space. We're not here to complain about the Council. We're here to build something new. As he explained Earth's proposal for an alliance, he saw the Valerians become more interested. When he mentioned sharing technology and working together as equals, several Valerian scientists moved closer. You would share your knowledge with us, one Valerian scientist asked. The Council said we were too dangerous to trust with advanced technology. We've seen your quantum shields, Hyunwoo said. They're not dangerous. They're amazing. Different from our technology, but just as advanced. Maybe more advanced in some ways. And your faster-than-light drives could help us improve our ships, Vel added, studying the hologram. But the Council will not approve. The Council already rejected us both. Hyunwoo stood up. They have no right to stop us now. Earth believes in moving forward. And we think you do too. Vel walked to a window, looking out at their beautiful silver city floating in space. For 50 years, we tried to join the Council. They always said we weren't ready. The Valerian turned back. Perhaps they were right. We weren't ready to stop growing, to become frozen in their old ways. The next few hours were busy. Scientists from both sides shared research. Engineers compared designs. Diplomats started writing trade agreements. As Hyunwoo watched humans and Valerians working together, he sent a message back to Earth. First contact successful. They're exactly like us, tired of being held back, ready to prove themselves. Before they left, first speaker Vel asked Hyunwoo quietly, "There are others like us, aren't there?" Other species the council rejected. "Many others," Hyunwoo confirmed. "Would you like to meet them too?" Vel's silver skin rippled with excitement. The council tried to keep us weak by keeping us apart. But together, the Valerian looked at the room full of humans and Valerians working side by side. Together, we could create something they never imagined. As the new dawn prepared to leave, Hyunwoo smiled. The council had created their own worst fear. They had forced the most creative and determined species to work together. And this was just the beginning. Intelligence Director Jin-Ho Kang sat in a dark corner of the busiest trading station in council space. He looked like any other trader having a drink, which was exactly what he wanted. His simple clothes and tired expression made him invisible in the crowd. 4 months had passed since the alliance with the Valerians, and Earth needed more information. They needed to know about other rejected species, and more importantly, about what the council was really doing. A tall, blue-skinned alien sat down across from him. "Interesting choice of drink," the alien said quietly. "The bitter ones tell the best stories," Jin-Ho replied with the secret code phrase. This was his new contact, someone from another species the council had rejected 30 years ago. 3 more species were rejected last month, the alien whispered. All of them had made breakthroughs in artificial intelligence. The council said they weren't culturally mature enough. Jin-Ho saved the information in its hidden memory chip. A pattern was forming. The council didn't just reject species that developed too fast. They rejected anyone who created something that might challenge their power. Back on his small scout ship, Jin-Ho sent an encrypted message to Earth. It was his 8th such message this week. Across council space, 20 other human intelligence officers were doing the same work. On Earth, all these reports came together in a special command center. Large screens showed a map of the galaxy, with new markers appearing as information arrived. Jin-Ho's boss, Senior Director Yang, studied each report carefully. "Look at this pattern," he told his team. "The council has rejected 35 species in the past 20 years, and every single one had developed something new, something the council didn't expect." "Sir," one analyst said, "we're also seeing council ships moving near our borders. They're trying to look casual about it." "They're worried," Yang smiled. "They should be. Our alliance with the Valerians is already producing results. The ships we're building together are better than anything the council has." The reports kept coming in from Jin-Ho and other agents. They found amazing things, species that could shake gravity, others that had mastered time itself, some that could grow living ships. The council had pushed all these innovations aside, calling them too dangerous. But Earth was different. Earth was reaching out to these species, one by one, not to control them like the council did, but to work with them as equals. Jin-Ho's next mission took him to a small research station on the edge of council space. Here, he met secretly with scientists from 5 different rejected species. They gathered in a hidden room, sharing their stories and their anger at the council. "Earth is building something new," Jin-Ho told them. "An alliance where new ideas are welcomed, not feared, where species help each other grow instead of being kept apart." One of the scientists, a being made of living crystal, spoke up. "The council has spies everywhere. They will try to stop this." Jin-Ho smiled. "That's why we're building our network carefully. By the time they realize what's happening, it will be too late." Back on Earth, the command center tracked all these secret meetings. The map now showed dozens of green points where rejected species were willing to talk to Earth. The council's space looked big, but the combined territories of the rejected species were even bigger. "They thought rejecting us would keep us in line," Yang said, watching the map. "Instead, they showed us who our real allies should be." In his ship, heading to another secret meeting, Jin Ho thought about the future. The Council had spent thousands of years building walls between species. Earth was breaking those walls down, one connection at a time. The Council's greatest power had been keeping species afraid of each other. Now that power was breaking, and they didn't even know it yet. Coalition Director Hai Jin Song stood in the newly built Alliance Chamber on Mars. The room was special, designed to hold representatives from many different species comfortably. Some needed cold, others needed special air, and a few didn't need air at all. 6 months ago, we were alone, Hai Jin said to the gathered representatives. The Council rejected us all. Today, we are stronger together than any of us could be alone. She touched a control panel, and a huge hologram appeared in the room's center. It showed their combined territory, almost a third of known space now. The Council's territory looked smaller every day. The Valerian representative spoke first, their silver skin glowing. Our combined fleet is 3 times larger than before. Our ships use Earth's engines, Valerian quantum shields, and crystal being weapons. The crystal beings sparkled as they added, and our scientists make new discoveries every day by working together. Things the Council never dreamed of. Hai Jin smiled. Through the chamber's windows, she could see the massive shipyards where their combined fleet grew. New ships were being built using technologies from all their member species. The Gravity Shapers wish to join our alliance, announced one of the intelligence officers. The Gravity Shapers were an amazing species who could control gravity itself. And the Time Weavers, added another diplomat. The Time Weavers understood time in ways that even Earth's best scientists were still trying to figure out. Hai Jin looked at the current alliance members. We vote on all new members together. That's what makes us different from the Council. Every voice matters here. The vote was quick. Everyone said yes. Both new species were welcomed into what they now called the Progressive Systems Alliance. The chamber systems adjusted to make spaces for the new members. Later that day, Hai Jin met with her advisors. The Council's spies must have noticed us by now, one said worriedly. Let them notice, Hai Jin replied. We're not hiding anymore. We're building something new, something better than their old, stuck-in-place system. On the main screen, they watched their newest joint patrol fleet return. The ships were beautiful. They combined Earth's solid engineering, Valerian quantum technology, crystal being energy systems, and now gravity shaper drive systems. Every species brings something special, Hai Jin said proudly. The Council saw our differences as dangerous. We see them as our greatest strength. A young diplomat rushed in with news. Director, 5 more species want to join the alliance. They're all from the outer edges of Council space. Hai Jin wasn't surprised. The alliance was growing faster than anyone had expected. Each new member brought new ideas, new technologies, and new ways of thinking. The Council tried to keep us apart because they were afraid of change, she told her team. But change is how we grow. It's how we get better. Through the window, she watched as young humans played with Valerian children in a special quantum field playground. In another area, crystal being teachers showed Earth scientists new ways to use energy. This is what they feared, Hai Jin said softly. Not our weapons or our ships. They feared that we would learn to work together, to combine our strengths. The Alliance Chamber would need to be expanded again soon for the new members. But that was good. Growth meant change, and change meant progress. The Council had spent thousands of years trying to keep everything the same. The Alliance was built on the idea that everything could always get better. And they were proving it every day. Defense strategist Min Soo-yoon stared at the data flowing across her screens. The reports coming in from the edge of Council space were troubling. Something dangerous was moving toward Council territory, something they'd never seen before. They're ignoring our warnings, she said to her team in the Alliance Defense Center on Europa. The Council thinks their old defenses will protect them. They're wrong. The screen showed a new force entering the galaxy. Their ships were huge and black, absorbing all light. They came from the galactic core, where stars were packed so close together that no one had ever explored it. Min-Su had spent weeks studying their movement patterns. "Look here," she pointed to the map. "They're not just attacking randomly. They're testing the Council's defenses, learning their weaknesses." She sent her analysis to the Council 3 times. Each time, they ignored it. "Your species is too quick to see threats," they said. "Our defenses have worked for thousands of years." But Min-Su knew better. The black ships were smart. They attacked in ways the Council had never seen before. Their weapons could cut through the Council's oldest shields like they weren't even there. "Another Council world has gone dark," reported one of her officers. On the big map, a red dot turned black. It was the 4th one this week. The Council's response was always the same: send in their ships in perfect formation, just like they had done for thousands of years. And every time, the black ships destroyed them easily. "They won't change their tactics," Min-Su said, shaking her head. "They keep fighting the same way, even when it doesn't work." In her latest report, she predicted where the black ships would attack next. She showed how they were learning from each battle, adapting their strategies. The Council dismissed her again, saying she was too aggressive in her thinking. 3 days later, that world fell too, exactly as she had predicted. "The Council's biggest weakness isn't their old technology," Min-Su told her team. "It's their old thinking. They can't imagine that someone might fight differently than they do." The Alliance watched carefully as more Council worlds went dark. Their own borders were strongly defended, using combinations of all their member species' technologies. Earth's adaptive strategies, Valerian quantum shields, gravity shaper defenses, and Time Weaver early warning systems all worked together. "The black ships are moving faster now," Min-Su reported to the Alliance leadership. "They've learned that the Council won't change their tactics. Each attack is quicker than the last." The Council kept losing worlds. Their mighty fleet, which had kept them in power for so long, was being destroyed piece by piece. Their rigid battle formations were useless against an enemy that didn't follow their rules. "Should we help them?" asked one of Min-Su's officers. She looked at the map thoughtfully. "They'll have to ask us first, and that means admitting they were wrong about us." More reports came in. The black ships were getting closer to the Council's core worlds. Their perfect, unchanging society was falling apart in the face of an enemy they couldn't understand. "The Council spent so long keeping things the same," Min-Su said, watching another world go dark. "They forgot how to face something different." In her office, she wrote one more report to the Council, knowing they would probably ignore it too. But soon they wouldn't have a choice. Soon they would have to admit that their old ways weren't working. And then they would have to turn to the very species they had rejected for being too different, too adaptive, too unpredictable. The species who had learned to work together and grow stronger through change.